If you thought the OTF storyline was slowing down, think again. Because tonight, Chicago's streets are buzzing with a rumor so wild, so emotionally charged, that even longtime fans are saying they've never seen the city this divided. It all starts with a single message, a voice floating through the internet like a ghost from the past. A voice people swear sounds exactly like King Von. And whether it's real or just someone playing games, one thing is clear: the streets took it seriously. Too seriously. Within hours, fans were shocked, group chats blew up, and the OTF circle found themselves pulled into a storm they didn't ask for. Emotions ran high as old tensions suddenly resurfaced, and people close to Lil Durk reportedly felt cornered by the pressure. Some say it's a coincidence. Others say it's a setup. But everyone agrees this one moment cracked open something nobody was ready for. Because when a voice from the past starts echoing through a city still healing, the foundation begins to shake. And OTF? For the first time in years, people started whispering the unthinkable. Is this the moment it all crumbles? Stay locked in, because this story only gets messier from here. Chicago didn't feel normal that week. Even people who never paid attention to street rumors felt something heavy hanging in the air, like the city was trying to warn everyone before the storm hit. It wasn't loud, it wasn't violent, it was quiet. Too quiet. And in Chicago, silence is never a good sign. Silence means somebody's holding their breath, waiting for something to break. And this time that something had a name attached to it that pulled emotions out of everybody, whether they were from the city or just fans watching from a distance. The name? OTF. For years, OTF had been something unshakable, a family, a brand, a movement built on loyalty, pain, and survival. But suddenly the streets were whispering, side-eyeing, questioning. And it all started from a moment nobody expected. A clip floating around the internet with a voice people swore sounded like King Von. Whether it was real or fake didn't even matter. The timing, the tone, the energy, everything about it hit a nerve. Within hours, social media exploded. Fans were shocked, pages reposted the audio, TikTok edits started popping up with dramatic captions like "Y'all hear this?" And Chicago ain't ready for what's coming. Nobody had context. Nobody had facts. But facts weren't important. The feeling was. And the feeling was strong enough to shake the city. People close to the situation said that the moment the clip surfaced, you could feel the tension rising like steam under a locked lid. OTF had already been under pressure for weeks. Little disagreements, quiet rumors, the kind of internal friction that doesn't explode publicly but pokes at the foundation from inside. And now this? It was like the streets were given a match and told to drop it on dry gasoline. The craziest part was how fast the narrative changed. 1 minute it was just a random audio clip. The next minute people were calling it a message, a sign, a reminder of unresolved history. They weren't talking facts, they were talking emotions. This feels weird, this timing ain't normal, somebody playing with the wrong name. And in the center of it all stood Lil Durk, listening, observing, absorbing everything quietly. When people saw Durk not reacting publicly, the internet did what it always does. It filled in the blanks for him. Durk hiding something, he's silent for a reason. He knows exactly what this clip means. But real life is much more complicated than timelines and comment sections. Durk didn't jump to respond because he understood something the internet didn't. Once a rumor reaches the streets decide how big it becomes, not him. Meanwhile, inside OTF, the atmosphere was tightening by the hour. Some members brushed the whole thing off as a clout-chasing trick. Others were uncomfortable, annoyed, even emotional. It hit certain people harder, the ones who had real history with Vaughn, the ones who felt the weight of his name in their chest every time it resurfaced. And then there were those who said this was deeper, that somebody might be intentionally trying to stir something inside the OTF circle. Because Chicago doesn't believe in coincidences. One night, in a dim apartment where a few OTF members gathered, the tension finally cracked open. Cups on the table, half-eaten food, music low, but the mood heavy. One of them played the clip again and paused it right before the most talked-about moment. He leaned back, stared at everyone, and said, "Tell me y'all don't feel something when you hear that." Silence. Real silence. Everyone looked away like the floor suddenly became more interesting. A second guy finally spoke, voice low but irritated. Bro, it ain't him. Stop letting the internet mess with your head. The first guy leaned forward again. I didn't say it was him. I'm saying the streets think it is. And that's gonna bring pressure we ain't ready for. That line hit the room hard. Because he was right. Real or fake didn't matter anymore. The reaction was real. And when the reaction is real, consequences follow. Chicago is emotional territory. A voice that reminds people of a painful loss carries weight. And when that voice resurfaces at a time when relationships are already strained, it creates cracks that turn into divisions. What made it worse was how fast bloggers and vloggers jumped into the conversation. YouTube thumbnails were already shouting, OTF splitting? Vaughn's message returns? Durk can't hide this. And these videos were pulling hundreds of thousands of views, fueling narratives that weren't even close to the truth. But this is how drama works online. It multiplies. It evolves. And soon, even normal movements inside OTF started looking suspicious to outsiders. Someone didn't repost someone's story? They beef in. Someone didn't show up to the studio? Trouble in the camp. Somebody tweeted a cryptic lyric? He's talking about the clip. Fans, observers, bloggers, everybody started stitching their own version of the story. And inside OTF, the pressure was reaching a level nobody wanted. In the middle of that emotional storm, something unexpected happened. A disagreement that started small, about whether the clip should be ignored or addressed, turned into a heated argument between two OTF members who normally never clashed. Voices got louder. Old frustrations resurfaced. One of them snapped. You acting like you ain't bothered, but your face changed the moment you heard it. The other one fired back instantly. My face changed because you keep forcing emotions. Stop trying to read my mind. Nah bro, you felt that. Stop lying to yourself. You twisting my words. Chill out. Things escalated so fast that someone had to step between them before it turned into something worse. The moment calmed down, but the damage was done. That argument wasn't about the clip, not really. It was about everything underneath it. Stress, pressure, grief, and emotions that never got properly addressed. And that, ironically, was exactly why the streets were so fascinating. People love drama, especially when it's connected to something emotional. And King Von's legacy is one of the most emotional subjects in Chicago culture. Powerful, raw, unforgettable. As the argument settled and everyone sat quietly, one thought became clear to everyone in that room. This clip, even if fake, was shifting the energy inside the team. Something that had been held together tightly for years was suddenly stretching, pulling apart under the weight of old memories and new tensions. Over the next few days, things only got more chaotic. Small misunderstandings turned into uncomfortable conversations. Studio sessions felt different. Group chats turned silent. People were watching each other too closely, thinking too deeply, reading too much into every gesture. Fans noticed the shift instantly. Some were worried. Some were entertained. Some were stirring it further by making edits and theories. The streets were divided. The fan base was divided. And OTF itself? It wasn't breaking, but it wasn't stable either. The emotional balance was off. And while everyone was focused on the clip, nobody noticed something else happening. Something quietly brewing underneath the surface that would soon double the pressure, shake the entire circle, and push OTF into a moment none of them were prepared for. And while everyone was focused on the clip, nobody noticed something else happening. Something quietly brewing underneath the surface that would soon double the pressure, shake the entire circle, and push OTF into a moment none of them were prepared for. It started with a misunderstanding so small, so harmless, that nobody would have guessed it would snowball into the biggest turning point of the entire situation. Late one night, an Instagram Live popped up from an affiliate who wasn't even deeply tied into OTF's main circle. He wasn't drunk, he wasn't angry. He was just casually talking, answering random questions from viewers. But then someone in the comments typed something like, "Did you hear the Vaughn clip? How y'all really feel?" Most people would ignore that. Most people would scroll past and keep the live chill. But this guy reacted with a face, Not a big reaction, not a dramatic one, just a face. A small pause, a slight head tilt, a little smirk like he wanted to say something but held back. But on the internet, a face can go viral. Within minutes, someone screen recorded the moment and posted it with the caption, "He knows something." And that's all it took. The clip hit Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. Suddenly, the narrative changed again. People said his reaction wasn't normal. Some said he looked uncomfortable. Others said he looked amused. And the comment section split just like Chicago had, half emotional, half chaotic. OTF members saw it instantly. Phones lit up. Messages came in. Some were annoyed, some confused, some angry. Inside the team chat, someone asked, "Why he make that face? Weird timing." Another replied, "He playing too much. Streets watching everything right now." A third one typed, "Who even added him to OTF topics? This ain't his lane." That last message hit harder than expected. Because whether it was meant as a joke or not, it created a new spark, one that would push tension even further between members who were already sensitive. The guy from the Instagram Live saw the comments, saw the reposts, saw the reactions, and he didn't take it lightly. He hopped back on live the next night, doubling down on his defense. "Y'all need to stop reading into my expressions. Ain't nobody said nothing. Ain't nobody thinking nothing. I'm not part of whatever story y'all trying to build." But the problem wasn't his explanation, it was his tone. His tone sounded irritated, maybe even defensive. And defensive energy on social media spreads like wildfire. Fans clipped the live again, saying things like, "Nah, he's definitely involved. He knows something he not trying to say. He just exposed tension without even talking." Inside OTF, that's when things turned uncomfortable. Members felt like the group was getting dragged into narratives by people outside the core circle. And when tension already exists inside a team, outside noise makes everything louder. 2 days later, a situation happened that nobody expected. A studio session was scheduled, casual, nothing deep, just normal work. But when 2 OTF members arrived, they immediately felt something off. The vibe wasn't friendly. It wasn't warm. One guy looked at the other too long, and the other didn't nod back. Subtle disrespect, subtle tension, but real. One of them finally broke the silence and said, "So we not talking about it?" The other raised an eyebrow. "Talking about what? You been moving weird since the clip." "Me? You the one acting like you got a secret to tell." That triggered a back and forth neither expected. "I ain't hiding nothing. But you acting like this clip means something. Because you keep bringing it up." "I don't bring it up. People tag me." "You love attention though." "I don't love attention. I just don't lie about what I hear." "And what did you hear?" The room froze. That question hit like a dart. Sharp. Direct. Loaded. The guy took a step back, caught off guard. "See? This exactly what I'm talking about. You twisting things. Nobody said it was real." "Then why you reacting like it is?" "I'm reacting to you." The tension snapped. One pushed a chair aside. The other took a step forward. For a moment it looked like fists might fly. The kind of moment nobody wants in a studio where emotions are supposed to turn into music, not conflict. Fortunately, someone else walked in, breaking the heat. "I chill out. We not doing this. Not over some internet rumor." Both guys backed down slowly, breathing hard. But the damage was already done. Because that argument didn't happen in private. People outside the studio heard the shouting. Someone in the hallway recorded audio, not the words, just the tone. And that tone was angry enough to create new rumors. By the next morning, different pages were posting captions like, "OTF members almost fight in studio." Tension rising inside the camp. Things getting worse after Vaughn clip. Nobody knew the details, but the sound of the argument was enough to fuel more speculation. And that's when a new divide started forming, not just emotional, but strategic. Some OTF members wanted to make a public statement to calm everything down. They felt like silence was making things worse. Others strongly disagreed. They said giving attention would validate the rumor and make it bigger. One member said, "If we address it, we admit it got to us." Another replied, "If we don't address it, people think it's true." A third one added, "We can't win either way. Anything we say gets twisted." Everyone looked at Durk, because he was the one person whose reaction mattered most. But Durk didn't say anything. Not a word. He sat there thinking, weighing every possibility the way leaders do when they know one wrong move can hurt their whole circle. Someone finally asked him, "What you want to do?" Durk's answer was simple. "We wait." Not aggressive. Not emotional. Just calm. But calm is dangerous, because people project their own fears onto silence. Some members agreed with him. Others hated the decision. One muttered under his breath, "This silence gonna tear us up more than the rumor." Another whispered, "Everybody's emotions already breaking. Streets too loud right now." That's when things shifted again, this time not inside the group, but outside it. A Chicago blogger, known for stirring energy, posted a video saying, "OTF ain't as together as they look." He didn't mention the clip. He didn't say names. He didn't show proof. But his voice carried weight in the city. And people connected the dots instantly. Comments filled up. They beefing inside the camp. Vaughn clip causing damage. OTF crumbling slowly. This ain't looking right. And the worst part? Some of the comments came from fans who genuinely cared about the group. Because when emotional fans get scared, they start overreacting too. From normal people in the city to internet watchers from far away, everyone was choosing a side. Some blamed outsiders for the mess. Some blamed clout chasers. Some blamed OTF members themselves for not staying unified. And a surprising number whispered something darker. This might be bigger than a rumor. Inside OTF, the pressure now reached a point where even normal conversations felt heavy. Every glance felt like judgment. Every silence felt suspicious. Every off comment felt personal. Nobody said it out loud, but everyone felt it. The group wasn't breaking, but it was bending. Hard. And in the middle of this emotional whirlpool, an unexpected message arrived that would flip the entire situation upside down. A message that didn't come from social media, didn't come from bloggers, didn't come from haters, didn't come from fans. It came from someone inside the circle. Someone who hadn't spoken about the clip at all until now. Someone whose words carried weight, enough to cut through tension like a knife. The message that arrived didn't feel dramatic at first. It wasn't loud, it wasn't emotional, and it didn't come with warnings or anger. It came as a single text sent into the group chat late at night from someone who rarely talked publicly about internal issues. Someone whose silence always meant they were paying attention. He was respected, calm, observant, and the kind of person who only spoke when something really mattered. The text simply said, "We need to meet. All of us. Tomorrow." No explanation. No hint. Just a statement that demanded presence. Within minutes, the chat blew up. Some thought it was about the clip. Some thought it was about the recent arguments. Some thought it was about the growing noise online. Others felt something heavier, almost like that text meant decisions were about to be made that could shift the direction of OTF for a long time. By morning, the tension was unbearable. People weren't texting. People weren't calling. Everyone was saving their emotions for whatever was about to happen in that meeting. When the group gathered, the room was heavier than any studio session tension they'd felt before. Nobody wanted to be the first to speak, so everyone waited for the one who called the meeting. Finally, he stepped forward and looked around slowly, making eye contact with every single member. "That clip," he said, "ain't the real issue." That sentence alone changed the atmosphere instantly. People were expecting anger, blame, explanations. Instead, he was calling out something deeper, something everyone felt but nobody had admitted yet. He continued, "We got hit because we weren't solid before it dropped." Somebody shifted uncomfortably. Another looked down. Silence filled the room again. "We ain't beefin' with each other," he said. "We beefin' with our own emotions." That line cracked something open. Not the foundation, the atmosphere. People finally looked around instead of staring at the floor. Some nodded. Some exhaled. Because deep down, he was telling the truth. The rumor didn't break them. The pressure they'd been ignoring did. He continued slowly, pacing like a coach calling out his team. "Vaughn's name is heavy. The streets love him. Fans love him. We loved him. But every time something connected to him pops up, we fall apart like we ain't learned how to move together yet." Someone in the back finally spoke up softly, "Because it still hurts." A few heads nodded. "And that's real," the speaker replied. "But you can't let pain make you turn on each other. That's what the streets want. That's what the internet waits for. That's what bloggers feed on." Everyone listened closely now. No interruptions. No whispers. He said, "The moment we let a rumor control us, we already lost." It hit different. Because every single person in the room knew they had reacted out of emotion. Not loyalty, not intention. Just raw emotions tied to memories they hadn't healed from. The speaker took a deep breath and added, "We ain't crumbling. We just forgot who we are for a minute." Silence again. But this time, it was a healing silence. Then someone from the front said, "So what do we do next?" The speaker didn't hesitate. "We get back on the same page. We stop letting outsiders pull strings. We stop letting emotions twist conversations. And we stop entertaining every little thing that comes online." Someone else raised a concern. "But the fans are already divided." He shrugged. "Fans follow what we show. If we show unity, they'll follow unity. If we show cracks, they'll dig for more." It was a simple truth, but a powerful one. For the first time since the clip surfaced, the room felt aligned. People weren't whispering. Nobody was arguing. Everyone was listening and thinking at the same speed. A different member finally said what everyone was afraid to voice. "So what about the clip?" The speaker paused for the first time since he entered the room. Then he said, "Let it fade. It only has power if we feed it." That was the decision. No public statement. No argument. No response. Just silence, the strategic kind, not the emotional kind. The kind leaders use when they know reacting would cause more damage than ignoring. And surprisingly, that decision calmed the room even more. Because deep down, everyone knew reacting to the clip meant accepting it had control over their emotions. Ignoring it meant taking that control back. But the meeting wasn't done yet. The speaker continued, "Before we leave here today, every single one of us needs to say what they've been holding." That part shocked the room more than anything else. Nobody expected a full honesty session. But this was leadership. This was healing. This was what they needed. One by one, OTF members spoke honestly about stress, fear, pressure, expectations, loyalty, arguments, misunderstandings. Some admitted they reacted emotionally. Some admitted they were scared the team was falling apart. Some admitted they didn't know how to process the clip. It was raw. It was painful. It was necessary. And with every person who spoke, the tension melted a little. By the end of it, the room felt different. Not perfect, but lighter, stronger, more aware. When the meeting ended, someone said, "This the first time we talked like this in a long time." Another added, "Feels like we needed this way before the clip." And they were right. The rumor wasn't the problem. The rumor was the pressure point that exposed problems they had avoided for too long. As everyone left the room, something strange happened outside in the hallway. For the first time in weeks, people were laughing, cracking jokes, talking like normal. No silent tension. No suspicious energy. The unity was back. Not because they solved the rumor, but because they solved the tension inside themselves. Meanwhile, online, the clip had begun losing momentum. People got bored. New stories popped up. New drama replaced the old one, as the internet always does. Comments shifted from "OTF is done" to "Where they at? They quiet." And then finally, guess the rumor wasn't real. By the time a week passed, the streets didn't care about the clip anymore. The narrative fizzled out. The internet moved on. Peace returned, slowly but steadily. Inside OTF, the atmosphere wasn't perfect, but it was stable, stronger, more aware. The rumor had tested them, but it didn't break them. Sometimes pressure destroys a group. Sometimes pressure strengthens one. And this time, pressure brought OTF back to the same page, the page they were meant to be on. If you made it this far, then you already know this story wasn't just drama. It was a reminder of how fast the internet can twist emotions, and how easily pressure can shake even the strongest circles. But it also showed something more important. Unity only breaks when you let outsiders write your story for you. So now it's your turn to speak on it. Do you think OTF handled the situation the right way by staying silent? Would you have reacted differently? And how do you think King Von's legacy continues to impact the people around him today? Your opinion matters more than you think, and every comment helps keep real conversations alive instead of letting rumors control the narrative. So drop your thoughts below. Tell us what moment shocked you the most, what twist you didn't see coming, and what you think OTF should do moving forward. And while you're here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more wild and emotional breakdowns just like this, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story that flips the internet upside down. This is your space to react, debate, and connect, and your voice keeps this channel growing every single day. Stay tuned, because as always, these stories never end where you think they do.